The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hey everyone, welcome into The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 93. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleyman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. Burley, how you doing, man? Happy Canada Day to you from yesterday, yeah?
Yes, Canada Day has come and passed, but thank you. I'm doing good. I'm just trying out this new stuff called Temp V. I heard some good stuff about it.
Enlighten our listeners and viewers that don't know what Temp V stands for.
Temporary Compound V. And if you want to know more, watch The Boys Season 3. You'll love it.
That's what I was waiting for, Burley. That's what I was waiting for. Okay. And Carl, how you doing, man? And all of you out there in the United States, I want to wish you all a happy 4th of July this coming Monday. So, Carl, how you doing, man?
Right, 4th of July.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing anything, but
Cool.
Big day for most people.
Yeah. Well, out here in Japan, there's been a massive heat wave the past week and a half. So it's been about 105 degrees every day, where it's close to 40 degrees Celsius out here. And of course the humidity is high. So, just everybody's been cranking up their air conditioners, but the government's telling everybody, turn the lights off. You can use your air conditioners, but turn the lights off, because they want people to consume energy because of the heat and all. So,
yeah, because the lights, that's really going to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if you switch
Makes
to,
sense, right?
your LED lights.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not drawing much at all with those.
Exactly.
No more lights. Get those LED strips all over your house. That's your new light system.
Yeah. Well, we got a big show for you. We're going to be talking about some of the games that were shown at the Nintendo Direct Mini. So we're going to talk about our picks of the show. And then, of course, some new game releases that are coming out. Sony revealed some new hardware that we're going to be talking about. So that's coming up. Atari. Yeah, from way back in my heyday when I was an elementary school kid. Yeah, it's now 50 years old. We're going to talk a little bit about that and the collection they're coming out with, and a bunch of other things, new game releases as well. But before we get into that and the games that we've been playing this past week, here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they've been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, and the post-show, in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon in early access for one day after recording. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode and post-show in audio and video formats, as well as watch or listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services. Weekly on Wednesdays for the post-show, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, Spotify, Amazon Music, and in video format on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at the Arena AMPGNP as well as on Instagram at @thearena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys, I'll start. This week, I started playing AI, the Somnium Files. I played a little bit of that. Actually, I played a little bit of that this afternoon before we started, recording. And yeah, it's a visual novel, typical visual novel where it's a point and click type of detective story. Yeah, it looks interesting. I mean, Somnium basically means delving deep into your dreams and trying to find out certain situations that occurred from the characters within the game that uh, supposedly had known each other. So that's as far as I've gotten so far in that. So, yeah, point and click. Just it's not a difficult system to master. That's for sure. And it's obviously a visual novel. The other game I've been playing, of course, is The Ascent, and I do not know why I left that game earlier for others. I love it. Just that twin stick shooter style of action. I love it. The boss battle that I was, going through today, it was exhilarating, and took me about an hour to finish. I'm still probably about 65% through the game, but just going through all of this kind of like a steampunk cyberpunk type of world, in a sense, it's really fascinating. It's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know why I put it down before, but I just wanted to go back to it, and it's been really fun. So I'm going to try to complete it this week. So that's it for me. Yeah, Burley, what have you been playing this last week?
Been doing more of Elden Ring, so I hate myself because I'm trying to beat that game. I've also been playing some more Mango Mischief on the Steam Deck. I haven't had as much time to just sit and play into that, but I'm really enjoying that. And been going through the other games on the Sonic Origins. I've now done through Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, and just trying to get my way through CD.
Nice.
Oh, you got Origins.
Burley, you have Origins?
Yeah. I was.
He's like,
yep.
Yeah,
I have Origins.
Yeah.
I caved.
So Sonic 3
and
Knuckles,
and bought it.
Some controversy with that. Something about the soundtrack, I think, and I don't know.
It's to do with the soundtrack. They have changed some of it because of the whole. They finally have admitted. Sega has admitted that Michael Jackson was involved with it back in the day on that, but they have changed some of the songs because he did do the music for it. Like if you listen to the original Sonic 3 credits, it was it basically sounds "Strangers in Moscow," I think was the Michael Jackson song.
Okay. All right. And Carl, what have you been playing, man?
I'm playing Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh, yeah. I saw on our Discord you and our friend of the show, Tawil, talking about that a little bit. That's one of his favorite
and then
games.
We also were talking about Live Alive or Live Alive.
Yeah.
Which I'll talk about too. But Mario plus Rabbids is good. It's a good game. I really think the combat is actually fantastic. It's it's a turn-based strategy type game. It's got some cool, unique features to it that I haven't really seen in other and sort of very Mario-esque stuff. Like there's a dash you can do mechanic where if you move your character onto an enemy, you can run into him, hit him, and then move again, and you can move within the same range you could already move. So it's basically like a free action. You kind of do it. If you can do it, there's no reason really not to. And then you can also, I forgot what they call it, team jump or assist jump. So if you move onto one of your own team members, and then vault you, team jump, and you can jump you farther distance or even higher. So there's verticality to it. So if you need to get to a higher point, that you can't normally get to from where you are, you can do that too. So it helps
Okay.
with strategy positioning. So it's cool. And then there's reasons to be higher up for other, like you do extra damage if you're shooting from higher up. There's a lot of cool mechanics. Mario gets the ability where he can head stomp people from that jump. So if he bounces off someone, then he can jump onto an enemy and do damage. So yeah, like they really thought about like the Mario-esque elements of it and add some cool things to it. You're basically shooting a lot. There's like those sort of Overwatch type abilities you can pop up with Mario, and he'll just shoot the next enemy. And the presentation visuals are really cool. So like when something like that happens, I love how an enemy can be moving and it doesn't stop his movement. It does like a slowdown, and then you'll see Mario and he'll like aim and he'll shoot, and then it'll get hit while he's moving, which is very cool. And it could even, trigger if the guy's like jumping, if he's bouncing off someone and he goes into the air, and that's when the thing triggers, then you're going to see him like slow-mo in the air, shoot off in the air. It's cool. They do some really cool stuff like that. The boss battles also have the cool presentation, or like when they show the boss and they have this cool little intro with him, and then it's like a slow-mo and then the name pops up for the boss. It's very, it's stylistically, they did a great job. And the battles are short, which I like. I think that's well done in that, like, they feel quick, but not, they feel meaningful as well. Not too long. A lot of those games, have long battles. My downsides to this game is that it's Mario and Rabbids, and that means your story is like real fluff. Like there's ain't nothing compelling about it. I'm actually like kind of losing interest in the game because of that. Because like battle after battle, like I like the mechanics well enough. The progression is okay. It's nothing amazing as far as what abilities and stuff you unlock. You're just making them stronger. The gear is weird also because like you just kind of get weapons and you find them and then you have to buy them. Like finding them is like unlocking your ability to buy them. You don't actually get them by finding them, which is a weird thing. Outside of battle, there's some like puzzly stuff, which is all just fine. Like it's not bad. I think it's okay, but again, it's like not compelling. It's okay.
I see.
It's like it's good, but it's not like I'm like, yeah, I really got to play more. It's like, yeah, that's a fun experience. It's a genre I like. It has good combat mechanics. So
How about we're going to be talking about the Direct Mini, but they showed Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Are you interested in playing that one?
Maybe. I mean, I watched the extended video that they had the day after. And it looks like they did a lot to improve the out of combat stuff. So like combat was already great, and combat looks a little different. There's no like grid and like movement. Like I place and then I decide how he's going to move, and then he moves. It looks like there's a range, and then you can move freely in that range,
right?
Until you then finish your action. So they're trying to make it a little bit more actiony, which is like not good for me. I don't like that. Like you made a cool turn-based, strategy. Like just keep it that. But I don't know if it's going to make it that different. So that's not really necessarily going to turn it off because it might still be basically the same, just slightly modified. The outside combat stuff looks better. The story looks like they're doing more. They're introducing more characters that seem to have more personality, which is good. But yeah, I'm not 100% sold because again, I feel like it's going to be Mario fluff story at the end of the day, and I'm just going to be like, whatever.
Oh, it will be. You know it.
Yeah, exactly. So then I play, Live Alive demo, which is out now, and look, this is a beautiful transition, or like interpretation of an SNES game.
Okay.
Like, if you go back and you look at the original compared to what they did here, like it's awesome. I'm like, bravo, very impressive what they've done because it's not just like a visual glow up. It's like they even do like interesting sort of camera angles of the views, that the shots that are changed from what happened, but still similar to what you had in the previous game. There's voice acting, sound effects, combat abilities, like particle effect thingies happen, and it all looks really cool.
Yeah,
I think visually it's fantastic, but gameplay wise is where I sort of like kind of have an issue because it feels like it just feels like an old game. It feels like a dated old crusty, stale SNES game that you put a nice glow up on. You put it's not like it doesn't feel like it's a bad game, and
Right.
maybe it's just a demo and there's limited in what you can do because there's 3 chapters you can try,
Mhm.
which is 3 different characters, and
So retro
me-
lovers wouldn't mind that. Yeah.
they shouldn't. I mean, if you love playing retro games like an old SNES, era, or JRPG,
Mhm.
which for me is like nostalgia based at this point. Like I'm not really gonna go back and play those.
Yeah.
But like it ranges from like the China chapter was like too easy because and which maybe contextually makes sense because you're like an old master and you just like beat up everyone. But then the future one, the far future one, you're this robot thing and you don't fight anyone at all in what they give you. There's no combat outside of like a mini game that you can play like on a computer that has the combat in it. Which I was like, I don't understand. And then the Japanese one, which I think gives you the most to do. The enemies are kind of too strong, and the point of that is because you're supposed to sneak around and you don't have to fight them, so like you can hide.
Yeah. I see.
And super basic, like sneaking. Like if they see you, they come towards you. You hit the button, they can't see you anymore. If they walk to where you are, they go right through you. Like it's very basic.
Interesting.
And the combat is like a sort of grid, and when you move, like enemies bar move, like it's like a time. If you move, like they're filling their bar, so you can't just move freely as much as you want. But your abilities don't cost MP or anything, which is really weird. There's no reason to not use your best ability every turn, with the exception of like when I was in the Chinese chapter. You had some abilities that took maybe some time to charge, and maybe some other attacks like use more of your speed meter. I don't know, but like, I just like I felt the comic didn't feel that deep from what I've seen of it so far. We'll have to see on that one. That one's like, I think it's really interesting, but I have to wait and see what the reviews say. Because also I think the stories were very simple. They were kind of basic, and I'm like, I'm not really gonna get into any of these stories. Clearly, they're all like little tidbit interest, like sort of tales that might be okay. I don't know, like if they somehow come together or these just me completely separate stories. I don't see that happening, but maybe it just doesn't seem like that kind of game.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's get to the weekly news beat. So first up is we're talking about the Nintendo Direct Mini. So we had a Direct Mini on the 28th, and the link to the article where you can find all of the games that were shown during the Direct Mini are below for all of you video viewers. But I want to start with you, Burley, because you play a lot of these Nintendo games. So what did you think? Just an overall assessment of the Direct Mini. How did you feel about this?
I really enjoyed this Direct Mini. You had a good variety. Like I know some people were mad we didn't get info on this and that, but the one thing I didn't like is they're like, this is all games you can play that coming out this year, and then literally 20 seconds after them saying it, they give you a game that is 2023. It's like they had a few of those 2023 because they wanted to show them off, which is fine, but don't do the whole thing of these are games you can play this year. And it's like, I don't like when they do that. Or at the end of the Direct, save these kind of things. But they had a good amount of games, and overall, I think it flowed well with them just going between game.
Yeah. Carl, what was your assessment of the Direct Mini?
It was fine. It's a pretty typical, I'd say, Direct Mini. I don't know. It's sometimes hard to know what to expect from these things. I mean,
me personally, I felt like it was more of a regular Direct more than a Mini. I mean, it was about 25 minutes, but still, I mean, you still got a good dose of games through this presentation that they would usually do in a regular Direct, I thought. But
some stuff, it felt like a state of play to me, to be honest. I didn't know that's sort of a copy of a Direct. So, but in the sense that like they're like, we're only going to show you some things, like third party, and they're not going to be the biggest things. I mean, some of them are good announcements, and it's the kind of thing where I look at this and I'm like, you could have done a big show like Xbox, put the majority of this in it, plus your bigger stuff of your first party, and you would have had a banger of a show.
Yeah.
But instead, you split it up, and you got this thing that, like, for me, I was like, I don't really need to see like stuff, like Portal, it's coming to Switch, great. I mean, Nier Automata, like, great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like, are people like clamoring for these type of things?
That
Even Super Bomberman. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Burley.
I was gonna say the Nier one pissed off Kingdom Hearts fans because Nier runs full on there. It's not a cloud streaming game unlike the Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
So there was huge things on Twitter on about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, like, I know how big that franchise is, but like, I've seen that game so many times. I'm watching all of these showcases, and I don't want to see that game anymore. Please stop showing me that game.
That's they do that with so many games though, Carl. I mean, it's like, it's just it gets to a point where you just have to black out, and just tune out and not even watch, and a lot of the time they're showing the same stuff that they showed before. Yeah, really. Okay, so we're going to go through our picks of the show. So I will start. This is a pretty cool little black and white game. I want to go ahead and show all of you here. So let me go ahead and get it started here. So, yeah, it's called Blank. So play as a fawn and wolf cub who must work together to find their way home in the snow. Described as an emotional adventure, Blanc is completely text-free, so anyone can experience his story. Play with a friend in local or online co-op when Blanc is released in February of 2023. There you go, Burley, a 2023 game. But still, yeah, I really love this art style, and I really love the story concept of this. A fawn and, kind of a wolf cub, actually having to work together here. So this looks pretty cool, and I'm really interested to play this. And there's some, puzzle elements to it and all that you have to solve. But, yeah, I really like this, and I'm looking forward to playing it. So what did you guys think of this?
Yeah, it's a cute looking game.
Yeah, Burley?
It's very cute and very interesting to me saying no text, no dialogue.
Yeah.
So that is going to be interesting to see how this goes and how you can as you're playing and watching what's going on, infer what the story is to you and how you see it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that's like Inside and Limbo, right? There's no text in that.
Sure.
As far as I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to Carl. What is your pick here?
We have Return to Monkey Island.
Mm-hmm.
Return to Monkey Island is an unexpected, thrilling return of series creator Ron Gilbert that continues the story of the legendary adventure games The Secret of Monkey Island and Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenged. Developed in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games. And there's a long thing I could read if you really want, but it's it says bringing classic point-and-click gameplay to the modern day. Intrepid pirates will solve puzzles and explore the islands with clever evolution of classic adventure game controls, context-sensitive interactions, reactive dialogue trees, and easy-to-use inventory system, making pirating a breeze. And this was announced.
I was going to say that there was some controversy this week with, some people out there making some bad comments. And so I think the producers were saying that they weren't going to promote this game anymore on social media.
Yeah, I mean, Ron Gilbert himself said he's not going to talk about it anymore. And people are basically harassing about the art style.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for me, I'm not particularly fond of what I'm seeing here as far as the art style goes, but it's still my pick for the game, because I love the franchise. And the art style, I don't think is bad. It's just maybe not what I expected, but playing the game, I'll probably, as long as the game is the quality of Monkey Island games, I won't care.
Yeah.
If you've played every Monkey Island game like I have, the art style has changed throughout the series. The first two are your sort of pixel arty, older style games. which got beautiful remakes that are available. And those are the ones done by Ron Gilbert. Then you have I forgot what the name of the third one actually is, but you have the third one, which was like a more advanced art style of the time. So like, if you look at the third one, you'll be like, oh, the third one looks better than this new one. But you know, it is what it is. And then the fourth was like a 3D one, and then their fifth one was like a weird, like cartoonishy 3D one. So
yeah,
they've been a lot. My issue is that they announced this for PC and Switch only.
Yeah.
And console first on Switch, and they didn't announce that it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation. The assumption is that it will.
Yeah.
But it annoys me. I look at this and I'm like, this franchise has no affiliation with Nintendo. I'm like, I don't understand why you're choosing the Nintendo Switch for this. I mean, I've played.
It sold over 100 million units.
Oh yeah.
Of
course.
Which is like, that's okay. I mean, if you're gonna tell me it's just money, it's greed, okay, I guess. But I mean, this franchise is a long-running franchise. It's a beloved franchise, and Switch is. I mean, are there a lot of Switch players who are like, yeah, I played the old PC games back in the day. That's my platform. And has there been? I guess the remakes maybe came to Switch. I've never played. I've never played a Monkey Island game on a Nintendo console. I mean,
well, maybe the development for this game was done initially first for the Switch, and I guess later, as they port it to the others, they have to take more time. I don't know.
I mean, I would imagine it's PC first development.
Yeah,
which has more in common with the Xbox and PlayStation than it does the Switch. So I don't really understand why.
Yeah,
money, I guess, right? Money.
Yeah,
they did it just so you'd talk about it, Carl. They were waiting on you.
I guess so. And it's still the game I was most happy to see at the Nintendo Direct. So
yeah. Okay, Burley, you're up. What's your pick here?
My pick is Super Bomberman R2. The new Bomberman game was announced for the Switch. This castle mode lets teams play up to 15 players blast their way to a treasure chest, while one player acts as defense and trying to stop them. You can also create and share custom battle stages. It's coming next year. But I really enjoyed the first Bomberman R on the Switch when it initially launched on the Switch, and then I think like a year or two later came to Xbox and PlayStation. I had a lot of fun playing the story on this, and just having friends when you had friends over, local co-op. Just it's fun just playing some Bomberman.
Yeah, Bomberman is definitely fun. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Right. Do we want to mention anything else that was there? Like, quickly?
Go for it, man. Yeah, go for it if you want
to. I mean, the Persona announcement, I think it's worth mentioning, of course. Persona, as we know, 5, 4, and 3, which are coming to other platforms, are also coming to
the
Switch.
Xbox, of course. It was announced the week before. So
I thought this was weird and a little flat in that, like, we already knew it was coming to Xbox, and then it was already said like these editions are coming to PlayStation,
right?
And then they're like, what is it? How many weeks later they're like, oh yeah, we got it too, and it's like, yeah, okay, like. I mean, we kind of saw that coming. People were asking, questioning it. I'm a little surprised that it is coming this exact same day for Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it seems weird that you would announce it and then put out like the press release info that's saying, oh yeah, it's also PC and PS4, 5, whatever extra difference it is. I don't know. It was already there, but they said that. And they didn't say Switch, and now they're like weeks later, like, we got you. It's still coming to Switch.
Yeah.
Why hold that back? I guess because Nintendo wants to put it out there direct, but then I feel like this direct isn't gonna like. I don't know. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, and we'll talk about that later as far as skipping a platform.
Topic of the show.
Just one. Right?
And many others. Yeah, so I mean, that's
Square Enix.
I'm still surprised that Battle Network is coming next year. Last year was the 30th, or not the 30th, the 20th anniversary of the Battle Network franchise. So they were good on the collections of getting them out around the anniversary, like the Zero and the Zero's ZX collection came out, I believe, on the anniversary of the Zero series. So I would have thought they would have done the Battle Network one a little bit faster. And they are giving you 10 games, but like for after three onward, they always had dual versions of the games, and it's just which battle chips, or in the later ones had like which souls you have, so different power ups. So in this version, you have the fire, and this one you have the ice, and stuff like that. There's small. It's like Pokemon, minute level of differences. I kind of find it fun though. Version 5 for Game 5 in the entry, they had 2 GBA versions, and then they made a DS version that added extra cutscenes and stuff, but that had both versions of the game. But that is not included in the collection, and they have stated the physical collection will have, you can buy them separately. You can buy part 1 or part 2, which will have some of the games and some not.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
what else is there? Harvestella, that's a new random Square Enix RPG. That's like a farm sort of Stardew Valley-ish thing.
Yeah. What were you guys surprised that they did not show? I was thinking. Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah.
I was surprised that actually got shown there. Sonic Frontiers. We didn't see it at the Xbox event. It came to the Switch. And I was like, this is a game. The more they've shown with this, I'm not looking too interested to want to pick this up day one, Sega. And
I thought we would see some Bayonetta, but no, we didn't.
Yeah, that one. See, again, it's like, what are they? Are they saving that for the big event?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Which is like, all right, so your third party event, which that game is, I mean, I would say third party.
It's technically,
even though it's I guess an exclusive now, but it's weird.
Yeah.
And Minecraft Legends showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was interesting there. No Splatoon, but then again, that's
first party.
Yeah, that's first party. So. Yeah, that'll be in the next direct. I'm sure they'll probably have a direct specifically, made for Splatoon 3 when it's about to come out. So, which is soon. It's coming out in September. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about a game that's actually, it's been a while since the last one came out. I think it's about 2016 when the last one came out, and it's coming to most platforms. Star Ocean. The Divine Force. So yeah, we're getting that. So let's take a look at that. I will show you, for all of you video viewers, I will show you the trailer for that and read a little bit of this for you. So Square Enix released a trailer for Star Ocean: The Divine Force, which we're showing here for all of you video viewers, and showed off gameplay of the upcoming sci-fi action RPG. And the release date is October 27th. So the first mainline entry in the Star Ocean franchise since 2016's Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness. Star Ocean: The Divine Force will blend science fiction and fantasy while featuring a dual protagonist system, allowing players to play as both Raymond, a great sword-wielding spaceship captain, and Letitia, the princess knight of the kingdom of Osiris, on the underdeveloped planet of Aster 4. So another Star Ocean, guys. What do you think? Carl, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think?
I mean, it's not for me. I'm not into the action JRPGs really at all. I remember when they first showed this, announced it. It also, like, I don't know, visually looks all right, but then when I see combat, I'm like, I don't know about this. Star Ocean has never been a franchise that I ever got into.
Burley, how about you? You excited for Star Ocean?
No. Here's the thing. Like, I like the first two games. I like those Star Ocean games, and those were action based. But this is just, it's gone more like, I don't know. This is just, I don't know what it is, but this just doesn't look appealing to me.
Mhm.
Like, if I really want to play the hack and slash action of this, I would rather play Scarlet Nexus or
Oh,
jump
okay.
into that.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. So Gotanda Yoshiharu, president of Tri-Ace, is credited with co-writing Star Ocean: The Divine Force, alongside authors Wagahara Satoshi, The Devil is a Part-Timer, and Sarai Shunsuke, Dog and Scissors. Veteran composer Sakuraba Motoi is doing the music, while Yasuda Akimon Akira is handling character design. So Star Ocean: The Divine Force will launch on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Yes. So
Yeah. Now the release date is, I think, an interesting point because
yeah,
it's
October.
October 27th.
Mm-hmm.
October's super busy.
Yep.
And of course, like, you can't forget that Persona 5 Royal is coming out on Xbox, PC, and Switch for the first time
Yeah.
a week
Yeah.
before. Literally a straight week before.
Yeah.
And no one's going to be done with that game by the time Star Ocean comes out.
Yeah.
If you're starting it.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
And you have Gotham Knights 2 days before that. You got Mario plus Rabbids on the 20th. You got Plague Tale Requiem on the 18th. What else is in this month? Forspoken is October 11th.
Forspoken,
Midnight
yeah.
Suns on the 7th, and Overwatch 2 on the 4th.
Yeah.
October's
Like
too packed. Why
know.
out of all the months, you could have picked for Star Ocean? I would have put November, December. I would have picked more than October, just because October's way too packed.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it is. It's not listed here, but the Resident Evil Village Gold Edition, right? Is that October, I believe?
Yeah, I think so.
Think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, yeah, that's the third person mode with the
Yeah,
Kennedy.
and I mean, I assume the DLC is coming out that same day as well, right?
Yeah, we
Pretty
talked about
sure.
Burley and I talked about this last week on the show when we were talking about A Plague Tale Requiem. I mean, it's like so much is coming out in October. It's it's just
October
stacked.
28th. Yeah, it's
it's
October
stacked,
28th.
man.
Like, there's a bunch of content on that
Yeah.
too. So, like, you guys may have wanted to move this date. Like, that game's gonna get buried for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah,
I'm
see.
wondering if they're putting in October, and they know October's crowded. They've got no faith, I would think. If you're going to go the same day Persona 5 Royal, and with how busy October is, you either have no faith and just want the game's not in a good state and you want to bury it, or you are super overconfident. Like, maybe with like a Final Fantasy 16 or something like that, I could see try and take thing. But Star Ocean, from what I know, is more of a niche of their JRPG franchises.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to of course, Sony. They revealed a new line of gaming headsets and a monitor. So it looks like they're really trying to push some new hardware into the market for PC gamers and for those that have a PS5. So it's called InZone. Kind of interesting. So this new line of gaming headsets and monitors for the PS5 and the PC. So there's going to be 3 different types of headsets. The H3 that starts at $99, the H7 that starts at $230, and of the H9 for $300. And so the H7 and the H9s are going to be wireless. But and then of course they showed off a new monitor, and I'll go ahead and show you the video for that. Let me go ahead and bring that up. So I mean, looks like they're really going to push, and these are not PlayStation branded pieces of hardware. This is Sony branded. So it's been a while since Sony has brought out hardware for gaming and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and show you. This is for the monitor here. So let me go ahead and read a little bit about the monitor as I pull it up here for you video viewers, of course. So yeah, so Sony's also jumping into the gaming monitor business. Two models. The M9 is a 27-inch 4K monitor for $900, while the M3 is a 27-inch 1080p monitor. So, Carl, what do you think of this? You're really into the display stuff when it comes to gaming. How do you feel about this monitor we're showing here?
I'm into this stuff, really.
Yeah, you're into visuals, right? When it comes to gaming, come on.
I care about visuals, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Monitors, I mean, obviously, you want to get a nice monitor, and it looks like these have a lot of the high-end features on them. But it is what it is. I mean, this isn't going to be a product that, I don't know, it isn't something that's already out there for PC gamers.
but
At least that kickstand looks like a PS5, right? That's great.
Yeah, but $900, is, what do you think of that price point?
It's not out of the range for high-end PC monitors. So,
okay.
I'm not going to be critical of it because that's the price you're going to look at if you're trying to get a high-end PC monitor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Burley, what are your thoughts on the headsets and the monitor?
I'll start with monitor first. The monitor I like, and then with the little, the middle there, the PS5 stand, and then you can slide it up and down.
Yeah.
That is cool. And like you said about the price, and Carl said about the price, that's not out of left field. Because I work in tech, I've seen, because we've had customers that were graphic designs, and you wouldn't believe the amount of money they would spend to get a really nice 32-inch monitor and all that, so they can see what you would spend on that.
So I mean, and of course for PS5 players, if they were able to get one of these headsets or the monitor for their PS5, it's supposed to support some of the audio features with the PS5 as well, audio and the visual features that come with it. So
the headsets look nice, but I don't know for the pricing they want on those if I would buy those over buying the ones that they made for the PS5, because I've had a few people that I know that have bought them and they're really enjoying them with the 3D audio and all that, and because it does give you the transceiver so you can use it, because I know one streamer buddy of mine, he will use it on his PC. And that's his headset for when he's streaming.
Cool.
Does it not just have Bluetooth, I assume, then?
It does have Bluetooth, but they actually give you the proper transceiver for it with it. So that way, if your motherboard... Well, you got to get all the 3D audio and all that.
Oh, yeah, it's probably like the whatever Bluetooth, whatever number they're on. 6.
Yeah.
5.96.
I can't remember the number.
I have no idea. I'm just thinking, I know they have all these different spec numbers for Bluetooth, and I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
What's the first wireless one price?
$99.
Okay, right. So that's comparable with the Xbox wireless headset, which is $99.
Yeah,
which has those features, those 3D audio. It has a different Dolby Atmos, I think.
Yeah.
It has that.
Okay. Next up. So Atari. So Burley, I know Atari was not your first game console. Yeah. So you're the youngling in the group here. So Carl, maybe the Atari.
Yeah.
You're from the Atari generation. Atari. Yeah. I mean, of course, I go all the way back. I mean, the 2600. I came out when I was in elementary school, and I love the 2600, and then of course later on the 5200, and then of course later the Jaguar and all of that. But Atari turned 50, so Atari turning 50, it makes me feel old now, because it's I remember every single day my friends and I playing Asteroids on the 2600 and Space Invaders and stuff like that. So during the summer vacations. It's very nostalgic for me. But Atari's getting a massive historical game collection for its 50th anniversary. I'm going to go, for you video viewers, I'm going to go ahead and show you the trailer they showed here. So let me go ahead and get that playing. So this is going to be good stuff. So, company has partnered with the retro experts at Digital Eclipse on a new anniversary collection that covers 5 decades of gaming history. For example, the Atari 50 Anniversary Celebration is what it's called. Atari 50 will feature more than 90 games, including 6 new titles, quote, inspired by the classics, end quote, from consoles like the 2600, Jaguar, and Lynx, along with archival photos, images, and even interviews. So, if the name Digital Eclipse sounds familiar, it's probably because the studio has made a name for itself with thoughtful, well-executed classic game collections, like the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, the Disney Afternoon Collection, and the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection. So, quote, when it comes to emulation or bringing classics back or doing really any sort of remastering or re-imaging, I don't know if there's anybody who does it better than Digital Eclipse. So they were always our first choice, end quote. Our Atari CEO Wade Rosen told Game Informer. So what do you guys think of this, man? This is pretty nostalgic stuff for me. But yeah, what do you think? Carl, I'll start with you.
I never looked into this, and now I see like, oh, there's Jaguar games on there. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Atari. Look, I'm never gonna play this stuff. Never.
What?
No, I mean, why would I want to go back to like Atari?
You're gone. No, I'm just kidding.
Like I played like Atari games. I
Yeah.
Asteroid I had, and
I loved Asteroids. Yeah.
Missile Command.
Missile Command, yeah. Defender, yeah.
I might have Defender. I had a baseball game. I had
yeah. The basketball game, yeah.
Those, yeah.
Good stuff.
I had ET. I have ET. Yeah.
Oh God.
And
look,
Carl,
ET.
you're gonna be disappointed. ET is not in this collection.
Can I have to say, like, ET is not far off from everything else I played on Atari. Okay.
I was gonna ask, Carl, did you find it in the desert out there in New Mexico?
Oh yeah.
Was it a cartridge that was buried out there?
I probably have mine. I have my Atari cartridges.
Yeah.
So I had Mario Brothers game on there.
Nice.
That, like, weird one, the like arcade one.
Yeah. The most disappointing game when I was in elementary school, because I was so into the Pac-Man arcade game, and I thought that the graphics from the arcade game would be in the Atari 2600 version. But boy, oh boy, was I disappointed at that.
Yeah.
When I went to the shopping mall to pick it up at the electronics boutique store, and then I brought it home, and I was so giddy and I was so ready, put it in. And I'm like, what the hell is this? But yeah, that
wasn't like the Atari version of Pac-Man a really bad version.
Yeah, it was. Yes. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had that. I think I had Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah.
I had a later console. I didn't have the 2600. I had like the 7600 maybe. I don't know.
Oh, the 7800, wasn't it?
7800,
whatever it was. Yeah, I had a high like
that. You could play the 2600 and the 5200 from what I remember.
Yeah, because I had like the newer era games.
I had 26.
I had Pole Position.
Pole Position, yeah. Remember Pole Position, yeah. I had the 2600, and then I got the 5200, and then after that, I had the Odyssey 2. I remember, and then the Intellivision. I had the Intellivision for a while. The Intellivision basically replaced the 2600 for me, because I was into the sports games on the Intellivision. But and one of I think it was one of Activision's first games. It was called Kaboom. Yeah, I remember playing that on the Intellivision. But yeah, it was a good stuff. Good times. Yeah, good old Atari. So yeah. Okay, so now, guys, it's time for our topic of the show. So we've had some recent news. Obviously, we had the Mega Man Legacy Collection, the Battle Network, and as well as Monster Hunter, Sunbreak from Capcom, announced. But for some reason, it's not coming to the Xbox platform, as well as like Square Enix and, the Final Fantasy series, Final Fantasy 16. It's going to stay PlayStation. It's not coming to the Xbox platform. And I just want to say here that this discussion is not only about the Xbox platform being, uh, shunned and being thrown aside for the other platforms. I mean, there's other games out there that are coming to certain platforms, and like say PlayStation is being left out or Switch is being left out. But I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, recently a lot of these games, especially from these Japanese developers, these publishers, I should say, uh, have been skipping Xbox. Uh, but the focus of this topic is on why are third-party publishers skipping certain platforms? Why are they doing this? Why do we feel that? What are their motives for doing something like this? I mean, you would think that these publishers would want to maximize profit and put them on every single platform. Yeah, there might be, developmental hurdles for particular platforms, but they can take the time and they can get it done so that it could be published on every platform. I don't know. So let's talk about this. And I know, Carl, I know you talk about this on Twitter a lot about how some of these games are being left off of particular platforms, and it's frustrating and all. I'll start with you. I mean, what do you think are some of the motives behind these third party publishers leaving particular games off a particular platform?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is the Japanese companies, right? Leaving Xbox off. That is the big majority.
Yeah.
You do have, I mean, Square Enix, I think, is like a separate category we have to talk about, and the weird nonsense that they do.
Yep.
And then Capcom, really, it's like a very weird select few sometimes. I mean, Monster Hunter Rise is a weird example of like, yeah, we put it on Switch, and it was I'm assuming had some sort of Switch exclusivity. I don't know. It was designed for Switch, but then like, yeah, we're putting it on PC. And then like, why aren't you putting it on Xbox and PlayStation? Is there a reason? Did you just not decide? Like, there's you built an audience there with Monster Hunter World,
Yeah.
and now you're like, don't worry about it. Just let's just not do it. I mean, can we expect that? Has it been a year? I don't know, since Rise. Like, what's the time frame on that? Why is that not there?
Yeah.
The reason, I mean, I think the most obvious reason is, financial, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, console
resources.
sales. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I understand Xbox One generation was pretty weak, and 360 actually got some more stuff than the one generation did.
Yeah.
And I get that financially speaking, maybe it's going to cost you more money because you got to build another version,
Mm-hmm.
and you might not get the sales you want on or need to cover that cost possibly.
Yeah.
But as we go on, obviously into the next generation here with the Xbox One being a thing of the past, and that system, whatever what it was, now we're not there anymore. We have the Series X, and we have the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And a Switch is a different story, but like the Series X, PlayStation 5 are very close in the way they run, like their systems are designed. They're basically PCs.
And before you go on, I just want to point out that last month, the Xbox Series X and Series S outsold the PlayStation 5 in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was very, very surprising. But, I mean, yeah, so now these publishers really need to start thinking about, okay, well, out here in Japan, the Xbox is starting to sell a lot better than it did the last generation. So maybe we need to start refocusing our efforts on getting these games onto that platform as well. But anyway, go ahead, Carl. You were saying.
Yeah, I mean that's going to change things, obviously, but they're nowhere near the total amount of PS5s there.
No, of course not. No. And they're not going to surpass them. I think that's my prediction. The PlayStation 5 will still sell a ton more consoles, I think, than the Series will. Yeah. When it's all said and done, PlayStation 5 will still win, probably. in Japan. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But I think your excuses are becoming like less and less now. Like there's not enough reasons. Like it's not a good enough reason anymore to just say like, oh well, we don't know if we're gonna do well on Xbox. Like,
Yeah,
you can't. It doesn't make sense because if you're building a PS4 or 5 version and you're building a PC version, I don't think it's going to cost you that much more to build an Xbox version at that point because you're already building games for the same architecture.
Yeah.
And if you look at the like install base, I mean, right now it's seemingly that in America, the Xbox Series line and the PS5 line are pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah.
And that is probably the biggest chunk of any single place. There's no reason to think that there isn't a big audience in America for these type of games on the Xbox as far as the PlayStation. Like you're kind of cutting off half of your potential audience there.
Yeah. Burley, what
doesn't make sense.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. So Burley, what do you think of this? What are your assessments? I mean, do you think also, Burley, do you think this could be licensing issues at play here as well?
Well, some of it can be licensing, but some of it is just weird. Like we'll go Capcom with Mega Man here for the Mega Man collection. There's no reason this shouldn't be on the Xbox. You have other Mega Man collections that are on there. Like I know this sub series of Mega Man was only on the Nintendo line, on the Game Boy back in the day. But you're putting it on PlayStation, you should put it on Xbox. Like, or at least
PC,
just come
right?
up. Yeah, like you're putting up PC, like
what you brought up about Nintendo, like I thought the same thing. Like, okay, if it's only gonna be on Switch, I got it because this is a Game Boy game, right? Franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you did.
Yeah. No, I wish it would just come out and say what it is. Like, is it to Capcom to say, you know what, this is a niche sub-series of Mega Man. The last couple of collections didn't do well on Xbox. We don't want to put the effort because we don't think we're going to get the returns. Just be open and honest about it. Because that's what I'm thinking on this Mega Man collection. That's the only reason I can think why they don't want to do it for Xbox. But you should still take the chance because it's going to take you no effort and you might be surprised by the sales numbers.
Yeah, you can't assume that your audience isn't going to be there just because maybe they weren't there before. And because a lot of that is because you're playing with it. You're limiting the previous games in the franchise. I mean, like Final Fantasy is an obvious one, right? With Square. I mean, you skip, you finally come to Xbox with 13 and then you're there with 15 and then 14. I mean, that's something different, but didn't come to Xbox. And then 7 Remake doesn't come to Xbox, but then they're like, oh, Crisis Core, that can go to Xbox. It doesn't really help when you want to build an audience on a platform.
Well, with the Final Fantasy one, I think that one's more PlayStation playing hardball and being like, we cannot have. They will do everything in their power to never have 7 Remake on the Xbox.
I don't know what the case is with that. I mean, then there's 16 also.
That's just my thought.
Yeah, I mean that one is a big mystery, right? 16. I mean, they said it's a timed exclusive, right? But is that going to come? You would assume. The assumption of Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I heard something that sounded like it made sense, but we'll see. In that, like maybe the release, because it was obviously we all know the story of like on the goddamn box, right, of Final Fantasy 7 Remake, it said like exclusively on whatever PlayStation until blah blah blah. Like, there was a date, and it was a year after the release. It's like that was obviously the deal there. And after that, like we don't know what happened, integrate whatever, but there's an assumption now that possibly it's tied to the second part. And that maybe time frame shifted and that the second part was going to come out, maybe it needs to be like, we need to know when the second one is coming out. We're not going to let it come out to like a certain time range before the second one is coming out, some nonsense like that. Like, you know, their contracts could have anything in it. We have no idea. You know, it's an interesting one. The other direction is Octopath Traveler with not being on PlayStation. It just doesn't make any sense. At this point.
That one puzzles me. Like, I bought that. I have that on Switch. I bought that day one. Very happy with that. But it was like, why isn't that came to Xbox? I was like, okay, cool. Where's PlayStation?
Right. It's on PC.
It literally makes no sense. Square and Capcom do some of the dumbest things that just make me like shake my head and say, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think that because that launched into Game Pass, that's the reason, right? They must have, you know, I have to assume Microsoft, Xbox had a conversation about getting games, and Octopath Traveler was one of them, and they're like, all right, yeah, we'll you want to put it on Game Pass? Okay, we'll port it to your system then. And they put it on Game Pass. I mean, it doesn't seem like any other reason why, because if they were planning on just porting it on their own, they would have done it for both Xbox and PlayStation. Would have just done Xbox. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's other...
there could be, before you go on,
Yeah.
Carl, I was just going to say, there could be other factors. I mean, when it comes to the developers as well, developers and the publishers, you know, coming to some kind of, I wouldn't say agreement, but maybe clashing over the fact that we don't want it coming to PlayStation because PlayStation has treated us unfairly so much in the past, or Xbox has treated us unfairly, or Switch, they want to charge so much money to put it on, you know, their particular platform. So maybe some of this has to do with the developers themselves. And it's like, well, it's either, you know, we put it on this platform and we don't put it on that platform, or we walk, or something like that. That could be an extreme, you know, type of situation, but it could be another factor as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, Atlas developers maybe has something to do with not putting stuff on Xbox. They just didn't have the experience or desire to do it, so they didn't. But now that they are, because, you know, I'm sure Sega, being their parent company and being told by them, like, you know, look, this has been really good for us. Put all the Yakuza games on Game Pass, and just putting games everywhere in general is working much better now.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to sometimes. Square's the weird one in that, like, they do everybody. They take money from everyone. They got all these Nintendo exclusives. They got PlayStation exclusive, and they even have one Xbox with the, not exclusive, but, like, you know, the Game Pass Octopath Traveler thing, which for some reason not on PlayStation.
Yeah, I know. So
your two other you know, suspects here for Xbox are Arc System Works, which just released like DNF Duel, which, like, I mean, no one's really talking about it, but like, it's PlayStation 4, 5, and PC. Like, why not Xbox? Like, there's no really good reason not to at this point. You know, Guilty Gear Strive wasn't on Xbox. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, you know, there's so many of their fighting games. Like, you got to go back to, you know, like Dragon Ball Fighters to find one of their fighting games that was on Xbox, and like, is that because the license IP, and they said, like, no, you got to put that everywhere, and they're like, oh, fine, I guess we'll do it. You know, like, what's the deal there? Or did they think that they would just sell more copies if they did because of the license? I mean, and the NIS is another one, another Japanese company who's got that's your Legend of Heroes franchise, which is, you know, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. But, you know, they announced it, like, that was the funny one where they're like, they're coming to all platforms. It says literally all platforms, and then, like, not Xbox though. I'm like, what the hell's up with that?
Xbox is not a platform anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's a fridge.
This game that just Eurokill, the Calumniation game, which, like, just came out. Like, that's not on Xbox. Monarch, not on Xbox. Sorry,
I was just going to say, I mean, coming from the dark side of things, in a sense, when it comes to the business practices and, you know, in the video game industry, it goes way back. Obviously, you have the Japanese side of things and you have the Western side of things, right? And I think that still has permeated into this, time frame that we're in now when it comes to publishers and publishing particular games onto a particular platform. Because I would still say, I mean, comes from 20 plus years of experience of living out here in Japan and seeing what goes on in the gaming industry out here. There's probably a lot of executives at these publishing companies that probably still think that the games that they're making, the Western gamers and the Western, people who buy, like, say, Xbox, for example, they would not understand their type of game. And so if they're not going to understand the type of game that we're producing, why would we want to put it on that particular platform? And there are probably still executives like that out here that are like, it's only going to sell here in Japan and in Asia. And so obviously PlayStation, Switch.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I don't know, maybe they just need to be in the room, like with an Xbox executive at that point,
Right.
who, like, which I imagine Phil Spencer has been
recently. Yeah. I mean, he's been working really hard with the team to,
he visits
be
Japan.
out here.
Like maybe they just need to be shown, like here's the numbers, like these. Yeah. I can show you how many people played Octopath Traveler, things like that. They can tell you, oh, this many people play Dragon Quest 11. Like there's an audience there. Like if you bring,
and that's probably what they did with Atlas. I mean, they probably should look at the amount of people that want to play your game.
I mean, they're probably look at all the people playing Yakuza.
Yeah,
they're like, they can, and that's as simple as that. Yeah,
Burley's one of them.
Yeah, right? Like NIS,
Lost Judgment, baby.
NIS is like so weird.
I was gonna say, Yakuza is a pass. Judgment series where it's at.
There you go, man.
Yeah, there you go. So like R-Type Final 2, right? Like I'm just looking at their list of games. Like that came to Xbox. Like, but why? Like, why is R-Type Final 2 one of their games? So like, yeah, we should put that one on Xbox.
Yeah.
Or like RPG Maker MV, that's on Xbox. Like, why? Why is that one? You can make your own RPG on Xbox with our software, but you can't get our RPGs that we make. Sorry. Like, why? God, tell me why, guys, please.
Yeah.
But it's gonna change. Like I have faith and I have confidence it's gonna change because
I think so too. Yeah.
Like you said, Xbox is doing better in Japan. They're doing better. They've already surpassed the lifetime sales of the Xbox One in Japan. Yeah, with the Series console.
Yeah, and with more and more games coming to Game Pass, that are JRPG style of games, the more these publishers will be like, okay, let's look at the numbers of how it's doing on Game Pass and how it's benefiting us, and let's start to put more of our games onto their platform. So,
and cloud's going to matter too, because cloud at some point, I believe, is going to allow you to play any game you've purchased.
Yep, even on a mobile device, which of course it's huge out here in Japan. So
the one thing that I always find really weird is that it's like, why does Xbox need to be in Japan for them to make their games in America? Because it doesn't work the other way. Like, Western companies don't have, like, they bring their games to Japan, right? Like, maybe there are games that I don't know that don't go to Japan. Like, tell me that. Tell me the opposite situation. Is there a Western company who's like, no, we're not putting games on certain console in Japan. We're just not going to bring it to Japan.
We don't hear of stuff like that. So,
I mean, should Bethesda put in the effort to do Japanese voice dialogue for Starfield for Japan? Like, it's probably not worth the money.
Not worth the money, but they'll do it though.
But they're doing it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that market is big enough for them. That sounds like a big ask, a big spend to do all of that voice work in Japanese, but they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, what's going to be interesting in the future is how China plays into everything, because you got these China has got a big stake in video games now too.
Yeah,
So
they do.
like
Yeah.
they for
Oh,
years they've tried to make their like hybrid consoles to make them look like PlayStations and things like that. And so how
The
that
knockoffs, yeah.
the knockoffs and stuff, and when it comes to their software, when it comes to selling it out in the West or even here in Japan, I mean, how that's going to play out in the future, we shall see, especially mobile. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
they didn't
interesting.
allow these consoles
No.
in the country
Nope.
until I don't
Last
know,
year.
sometime last generation, right? Or was it last year? No,
Last
it was,
year. I think it was
like,
last year they finally allowed the PlayStation to be sold in China. So in 2021, I think it was. So.
Yeah,
But,
so it's
yeah.
yeah, that'll be something. But they're very PC focused over there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we shall see. Hopefully, more games will come to every platform. That's what we hope for. Because I mean, all of us gamers, we want whether we play on all platforms. Like multi-platform, like our podcast is multi-platform. But whether you're a Switch player or a PlayStation player, an Xbox player, or a PC player, or a mobile player, I mean, hopefully, all the games can come to every single platform so you can enjoy them. So whether you play on one platform or all platforms. So.
I'd like a bit more transparency about it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
No, like,
what we should
because
have.
now it's like, all right,
Oh, same.
yeah, like, all right, so Octopath Traveler came to Xbox. Okay, does that mean Triangle Strategy is going to come to Xbox one day? Like, do I know?
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's
Yeah.
going to come to PC one day, maybe. I don't know.
Can I save?
That's a game.
Can I save myself the $90 and just let it come to Game Pass?
You never know, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
There are games that like
Part of
I
the reason
will
why I
buy
haven't bought
on Switch. Yeah, like I will buy that game on Switch because it's a thing that I absolutely, love, right? But other games, if it doesn't come to my platform of choice, I might just skip it, and that's because guess what? There's an unlimited amount of video games for me to play. There'll never be a time when I can't find something to play. So if your game doesn't come to the platform I want to play it on, and I'm not that interested in it, I can just skip it.
Yeah.
You guys, maybe you should listen and remember that. Like, I can skip your game. I don't have to play it. I will play something else.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. The customer is always right. Yeah. Okay, so it's time to get to our new game releases for the week of July 4th through the 10th. We're in July now, guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and check them out. And they're from releases.com. So for you video viewers, you can check the link below here. So first up, Carl, it's your pick because obviously, like every single week, you pick a game that's in the first letter of the alphabet usually. So
Yeah.
So what do we got, man? Go ahead, go for it.
I'm gonna say it's called Apico.
In Japanese pronunciation, Apico. But anyway,
Apico?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Is a laid-back beekeeping sim game about breeding, collecting, and conserving bees. Leave your boring city job behind to return to your family home in Port Apico and get back to your beekeeping roots. Set in a series of lush environments, Apico uniquely combines resource gathering, biology, and beekeeping minigames, taking ideas from a mix of real life and fantasy, apiculture, and floriculture. And this comes to Switch on July 7th. It is already out on PC as well.
Nice. Yeah, looking at this area, it's kind of like bee colonies and everything. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it looks cute. Looks like a fun. I like sim games like this. Like, if I had more time, I would want to play more of these type of games, like that Apothecary one that we talked about. It's still on my Steam list. It went on sale. I was like, I kind of want to buy it, but I didn't.
Nice. All right. So next up, my pick here. So let me go ahead and read this for you. Arcadegeddon. So rise up and play with up to 3 friends in this ever-evolving cooperative multiplayer shooter. Explore multiple biomes, minigames, find hidden chests, and defeat numerous enemies and bosses. Gilly, the owner of a local arcade, is trying to save his business from a faceless mega corporation. To do so, he takes all the top arcade games and connects them all to make a super game. Unfortunately, the mega corporation Company hacks the game and injects a virus. You and your friends need to save the game and the last hometown arcade. So this ever-evolving multiplayer shooter allows you and up to 3 friends to explore multiple biomes, minigames, find hidden chests, and defeat numerous enemy types and bosses. So Arcadegeddon is a cooperative multiplayer experience that provides a mix of PvE and PvP experiences that allows for all different speeds of play. So as you continue to play, you take on additional challenges from the local gangs. So let me go ahead and stop this here. So as I continue, that hang out in Gilly's Arcade, these will earn you much more than street cred. Speaking of street credentials, earn your spot on the leaderboard. So for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X on the Tuesday, July 5th. And it is coming to the PlayStation Plus for the month of July, which Burley will be talking about shortly. So anyway, Arcadegeddon. That's my pick of the week. Okay. So Burley, you're up next. What do you got, man?
My pick of the week is Klonoa.
Oh, before you do that, Burley, sorry. I was going to say we have one extra. It's not a part of releases.com this week, but Carl had a couple of things he wanted to talk about with Avengers that's going to be coming out. So sorry, Burley, you're up next. Just hold on for just a second.
I guess
man.
quickly.
So, quickly, Carl, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I wanted to pick this because there was nothing else, but then there was some other games added to the list, so I found Apico, but
yeah, Apico came later, yeah. So.
Yeah, but I thought it was cool that they are adding the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster version of Thor, to the Avengers game. Uh-huh. They haven't actually released the character since Spider-Man.
Yeah,
she's obviously a variation of Thor, but she has some original abilities to her, and I think what's awesome to note about this, and it's like maybe too little too late, of course, for this game, but they're finally releasing content that is like relevant and like lining up with marketing of another Marvel product. Mm-hmm. I mean, because we have Thor: Love and Thunder coming out, we're gonna see the Jane Foster Thor there. I mean, like, it just mystifies me that they never were able to line this up before. This is the first, like finally we've trying to capitalize on the popularity of the MCU by putting out content when something in the MCU drops. Like, bravo, guys, you did it.
Yeah.
It only took you till your game was dead.
All right. Okay, so Burley, go ahead, man. You're up next.
Awesome.
Yeah. What do you got for us?
You still got the wrong thing, man. Where'd you lost his game? You lost it.
Yeah, I lost his game. Yeah.
Sure. I saw it there for a second, but maybe you there it is.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series. Klonoa is back. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series brings back Klonoa Door to Your Phantomile and Klonoa 2, Latuna's Vile, remastered in one collection to fans new and old. Get ready and set out off on an adventure to save the world, coming Friday, July 8th, coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. So it's coming out on everything. These are games I've always wanted to try, so having them in a nice, easy collection that I can play on any device is a win to me.
Nice. All right, so those are our picks of the week. So sorry about that, Burley.
It's okay.
I gotta let everybody know here. I am the one controlling everything here, so I have to make sure all these videos come up and everything about the show here. So sometimes things get a little bit mixed up. I apologize for that. So, but anyway, so those are the new game releases. So check them out. Yeah. All right. So next up, of course, we're going to talk about PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live. So Burley, we got some new games coming out for PS Plus. What are they?
Oh yeah, for our July month, we've got Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time, coming for both PS4 and PS5. For PS4, you're also getting the Dark Pictures Man of Eden, which is one I've been wanting to try. and one we mentioned earlier that's coming both to PS4 and PS5, Arcade Geddon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I want to play Crash Bandicoot 4. I haven't played that yet, so
It's a lot of fun to play if you're just playing the story. Don't try it 100%. You're gonna want to break your controller. Seriously. I suck at doing the regular Crash 1, 2, and 3. This one they hide boxes in insane things. Like people that have been notable players of the game of like the Crash series have had to look up stuff to find boxes and stuff, and like to get all the gems, you have to do like get all the boxes within like 3 without dying less than 3 times. It's brutal, and some of these levels get long, but it's a really fun game.
Yeah, Man of Medan. It's the first of the Dark Pictures anthology series. It's pretty fun to play. I mean, if you're into Until Dawn, then you'll really enjoy it. So, yeah. And I love the librarian guy. He's he's a piece of work.
Oh,
yeah, no, yeah, because I mean, he gives you pointers and tips on what you're doing throughout the game and stuff. So sometimes good, sometimes pretty obnoxiously bad. Yeah. So. But anyway, good stuff. All righty. So that's PlayStation Plus. Now, Carl, it's time to talk about games with gold. And what were you calling it before the beginning of the show? You had another little nickname for games with gold.
Name
yeah, a better name. Yeah, what was it?
Better name than what I said last time. I'm going to call it Games with Garbage. Keep the G in there. You got the same G, same abbreviation.
All right, games with gold. Go for it, man.
Yeah, and it's it's probably mean to say that these games are garbage because they're probably not. They're probably all right. I'm sure a lot of people worked hard on these games. And they don't look bad. But
Torchlight 1's in there. It's really good.
I think this Beasts of Maravilla Island looks interesting to me. Right, that's your Xbox, One titles, and then Relicta is your other one, and then your 360 titles are Thrillville, Off the Rails, and Torchlight. And the thing is with the games with gold now, and if you look at it's always worse than PS Plus now, which I guess going to be PS Plus Essential level. Yeah. And I think I had a conversation about this recently on Discord, and one thing I think is interesting to note is that if you're someone who is getting this service to play online games, right? That's why you are getting gold, or we're getting PlayStation Plus Essential. Yeah. And you want to play, you're probably playing, you might be someone who's playing Madden, right? Or FIFA or Call of Duty. What value is this adding for you? I see that the value in the PlayStation Plus Essential games, right? I can see someone who doesn't play a lot of games. They play a couple. They need the service because they want to play online, and they see those games coming, and they might play those games. Maybe they might try that, whatever. But they look at this and like, this doesn't seem to add much value to very many people. I can't imagine how many people. I haven't touched a games with gold game since Resident Evil Code Veronica, right?
Yeah.
Or when
that was a while ago.
And before that, if I had to guess, this is going to go back very far. I believe Slime Rancher was a games with gold game. However many moons ago.
Yes, it was.
And that was probably the last one I played before that. I mean, there's just, obviously Game Pass is where it's at. Like, even if you look at, like, let's say you're, like I said, the example of the COD gamer, right? Who needs the service for online. Let's say he gets COD on Game Pass in the future, right? Because they're going to be owned. Activision's going to be owned by Xbox.
Yeah.
And you need to get Ultimate, right? Because you're going to need to play online. That's how that works. So a year of Ultimate is $180. So you're gonna get for $180, you get in your game, you can play it online, and you're gonna get a huge library of games, right? But let's say you're not really interested in all of that. And you go to PlayStation, you can get COD for $70. You can get PlayStation Plus Essential for a year for $50. I think it's 50, right? If you buy it for the year. So now that's $120. You're
Is it?
$60 less.
It's 60, I think, Carl. $60, $59.99 now. I think it is
I don't know.
for a
felt,
year. Yeah,
I felt like it was cheaper, but either way,
yeah, whatever.
it's
Yeah.
50, 60, right?
Yeah.
It's still cheaper to buy your one AAA game that you might play if you're that type of gamer, and to buy the year of the online service than to get, Game Pass Ultimate with the game maybe that you want. And you're getting a much better library of included games as far as versus games with gold, right? If you were to just try to get that on its own.
Well, I mean, the smart business sense here would be to just consolidate games with gold into Game Pass and then make online gaming free. I think that's what they really need to do.
I really think one day they will. I just don't know what. They must be waiting for the numbers of Game Pass to reach a certain level. But
maybe
I feel like at some point you're going to have to just pull the trigger on it and take the jump, because if you convert all of your Games with Gold subscribers to Game Pass, a certain percentage of them are just going to let that subscription roll. Mm-hmm. They're not going to go away. They're just going to, this is how people
They'll just remain.
I mean, I kept gold for a long time. I had gold. Mm-hmm. I mean, once I started gold, I never stopped paying for it.
Yeah.
But I don't play games online. So I don't even know why I had. At some point I did. Right. There's a couple of games I played. And then I just kept it for the assumption that one day maybe I would want to play something online. So I was just like, whatever, I'll just leave it. Then they introduced Games with Gold, and I was like, oh, there's some good stuff on here when it first came out. But now, at this point, I would not subscribe to Games with Gold if I didn't have Game Pass. I just wouldn't, because I don't play games online.
Yeah.
And the value of what's in Games with Gold wouldn't be something that I would care about.
Yeah, I mean, probably about 99% of gamers out there, agree with you on that. It's like they wouldn't have gold, so
yeah. But if I was a PlayStation guy and I didn't want to get their extended service now, extra premium, I might actually get the essential PlayStation Plus, because what if I want to play a game online, and also I'm getting a good selection. Not every month is great, but there's always something there that seems decent enough, that's of a decent value. It's somewhat recent, might be AAA, older, something good AA, and an indie. Like there's always something there that's worth something that you might want to play. Yeah. That's not true for Games with Gold.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on to Game Pass, because I think, Carl, there was at least one game that's out for Game Pass that we want to mention. So, what is that game for this month? So for Game Pass?
It just came out. Just I think maybe on the 30th. It's called House Flipper.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't have a regular. I guess I could read some of this, but it says, "Handyman at your service. You got to earn it around here before you purchase your first property. No worries, though. Luckily, there's plenty of work at your fingertips. Take job offers from nearby residents, clean up, paint walls, install heaters, showers, and air conditioners, or even furnish their whole property. Once the grateful client pays you for your solid work, it's time to get your own house."
Yeah.
And then, I don't want to keep reading it, but basically, it's your typical, like, if you ever watch any of those house flipping shows, it's a game that just lets you buy a house, repair, a junky house, and there's little mini games for you doing all of the work.
Cool.
And then you get to sell it. It looks like a fun little, sim thing. It's on Game Pass.
Cool.
Came out of nowhere.
All right. Okay, so some of our programming announcements. Of course, we're going to be pretty soon. We're going to be recording episodes 3 and 4, our review of Miss Marvel. So stay tuned for that. Of course, it will go up to our Patreon in early access, and then it will go to our YouTube channel. after early access. So please stay tuned for that, as well as Burley and I will be recording our next review episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Episode 9, All Those Who Wander. So a review of that, another great episode, and some surprises in that one. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be recording that this coming Monday. So please stay tuned for that as well. And we also, of course, we have a new website, of course, our official website. So you can check that out at thearenaproductions.com. So all of our news and information regarding all of our shows, our blog, our forum is up there now, and you can check that out. Information on our Patreon, everything is on our official website now at thearenaproductions.com. So you can come and check that out and become a member. And of course, it's for free, and you can post on the forums and meet the other members, as well as get information about our upcoming shows and previous shows that we have recorded. So you can actually watch some of them, from our YouTube channel that go up after it goes from early access to our YouTube channel. You could also watch some of them on our website as well. So check that out. Good stuff. All right, guys. So what are you going to be playing this upcoming week? I'm going to continue with the Ascent and probably more of AI, the Somnium Files, and maybe some other new games. What are you going to be playing this coming week, Burley? What are you going to play?
Maybe do some more Elden Ring, but continue on with the Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke I'm running on that. And
Nice.
for personal, keep playing Mango Mischief and finish Sonic CD on Sonic Origins.
Cool. How about you, Carl?
I was still going to play some more Mario plus Rabbids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm doing after that. I want to get something else, because Mario plus Rabbids is, I don't know, it's not quite doing it for me, but it's all right.
I see. All right. Okay, so to end the show, it's time for our indie recording artist spotlight. So this week's spotlight is on Offren. Offren's music is characterized by her ability to create a different world through thematic and cinematic composing, delicately combining organic and electronic audio, bringing Eastern and Western influences together with nostalgia and modernism into a powerful, poppy, and shamanic storytelling style. Currently, Offren has been busy building a new recording studio and working on several albums and collaborations with colleagues from the art and music world, including a new project which is investigating the influence of sound memories on our cultural DNA. From her album titled Do, and the song is called What You Gonna Do. So this has been the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, episode 93. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm. Keep it up for good when the sky's falling down. All you gotta do is to bring it to the ground. Speed it up to your inner move. Stop, start, down. Nobody can get what you're going through. Nobody can get what you've done. Nobody can get what you're going through. Matter of the thing, I'm never falling down. Shovel up the dirt, I'm taking shit from now.